I have an urgent concern about the Tea Party in this upcoming election that I think you need to consider. What? Oh, the face. My girls just got some face painting pencils and they spent the evening face painting anything that didn't move away fast enough. Just don't pay attention to it. It'll probably go away. That's always a good strategy. The Tea Partiers are angry, and understandably so. Our world has been turned upside down since the 2008 financial meltdown. But they've channeled that into a general but zealous, tear the damn thing down attitude. The hitch is that they aren't proposing anything to replace what they tear down. They've got the demolition part, but not really the solutions or the alternatives. Cut spending, cut taxes, balance the budget, erase whole parts of the government like the Department of Education. I get it, but the Tea Party candidates as a whole, while they've given us an earful of things they oppose, haven't yet really detailed things that they would propose as the alternative, which would, in absence of anything that they do build up, leave by default the free market to deal with most of society's needs. But if you look at it, the unfettered free market doesn't have a great track record. It's a bit like a good thoroughbred horse, which does better under a bit of rain. If you give it its head, it'll run itself to death. Take the idea of the laissez-faire economy. We tried that, remember? And everyone agreed it sucked, except for the filthy rich, because they got all the marbles. So let's not make a zombie out of this thing by resurrecting what we already had to kill off. We darn well should have learned our lesson the first time. The other example of the failure of this free market fundamentalism, the idea that an unregulated free market is what creates the greatest social good, is the efficient market hypothesis. This idea of the efficient market hypothesis is central to the ideas of market fundamentalists, like the Tea Party. But it rests on a demonstrably wrong assumption, which is that people make decisions rationally. You don't even need to be an economist to see that's wrong. Just look at smoking. If people made rational decisions, would they really pay a lot of money to use a product that they know stands a good chance of killing them? The Tea Partiers are ticked, we get it, and they want their pound of flesh by tearing down what they're ticked at. But as I just described, going out to vote Tea Party is a decision based on emotion, not rationality. And decisions made on emotions are often regretted. How often have you made a decision in anger that turned out to be sensible? So, fellow citizens, if you don't want to be crushed by a wave that leaves in its wake a system more broken than what we already have, that is, the unfettered free market versus the regulated free market, remember words like subprime, financial meltdown, Glass-Steagall Act, and now robo-signers? Those were all results of deregulation and the free market doing what it does best, which is pursue a profit. Then get off your demoralized, self-pitying duffs and get out the vote. Cowboy up! The Tea Party's greatest hope is that the regular non-crazy voters stay home out of disgust. And that's how they'll win races, strictly by voter turnout. We've always had crazies in the political process, but this is the first time when we've actually given them a shot at taking hold of the ship's wheel and letting her spin. Wanna go for a ride? So don't just vote. Grab 5 friends and get them to vote with you. And do the same trick to them, so that they each get 5 friends, and they each get 5, and they each get 5. In just 5 steps, that's over 3,000 people who voted because of you. That's power. Use it. Forward this video to others. Grab your friends on Facebook. Do your Twitter thing. Harness the viral nature of the internet to get people to make rational, sensible decisions about the tough questions, and then enact those by getting out the vote. Otherwise, the Tea Party and market fundamentalists take over and tear everything down around our ears in anger. And that's never turned out well. Even the American Revolution, although incorporating a lot of anger, still consisted of sober, intelligent, thoughtful men with a rational game plan. That doesn't sound like the Tea Party to me. And lest you forget the lessons we learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, conquering is the easy part. It's governing afterward that's the real. Which? I'm going to go out on a limb here and offer you some tough love. If you sit out this election out of disgust or malaise or exhaustion with the whole shouting match, you may very well end up being an accomplice in electing to government people who believe that government cannot work. And you can sure as heck guess whether that'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So vote Republican or vote Democrat, whatever your fancy. Just be sure to get off your duff and vote, and take a bunch of friends with you. Don't let the crazies win because too many of the thoughtful people stayed home. And one more thing. Even if we keep the crazies out, we still need to start holding accountable those that we have elected by hounding them until they enforce the existing laws and create new and sensible laws with the public good in mind, rather than the good of their corporate masters' bonuses. Do that 5 times 5 times 5 thing, or supersize it to 10 times 10 times 10, and drown out the sound of money with the sound of us. After all, we are the we in We the People. So take up that mantle and get out there.